Hey guys, welcome to another Jafo Paints video. Here's a look at the model we are going to do. We are painting Valerie, the Bloodmoon Assassin from the Bloodmoon Assassins versus the Elephant. Oops, I'm bouncing all over the place here. Ooh, yeah, that'll work. That'll make you guys nauseous. There's an actual preview of what the model looks like. As always, I have already primed her in Mechanicus Standard Gray. So let's go through real quick the list of paints that I have. For all of her purple undersuit, we've got some Nagaroth Night, some Xerces Purple, and some Gene Stealer Purple. Somewhere in between there, we'll wash that in Drukia Violet. For the gray, I guess it's cloak, waist cloak thing right there. We're going to do some Skaven Blight Dinge and highlight up with Storm Vermin Fur. I need one other color here before I forget. Skin tones. We will start with some Cadian Flesh Tone. We'll wash that in Flesh Shade, and then we'll highlight with Kislev Flesh. Any of our metals, we'll do some Lead Belcher on it. As always, we've got our basing of Dawnstone. Her red mask, we're going to use some Corn Red and highlight that with, or deepen that with Nuln Oil. As always, our favorite leather color of XV88 and some Nuln Oil. Then we're going to do a neat little trick. Not necessarily neat or trick. If you look there, better on the close-up here, it looks like she's got some red jewels on the pommels of her swords. So we're going to hit those with some Stormhost Silver, and then we'll put some Spirit Stone Red technical paint over the top of that. So that is what I got for you today. Let us begin with some Nagaroth Night. After I move all of my paints off to the side, I'll be right back. Alright, we've got our Nagaroth Night prepped on our palette. And looking at her body armor here, it actually looks like her chest plate is what's mostly the purple. So we'll do her chest plate down to her sleeve. So we're going to do all of this up into here. And we'll kind of figure that out as we go. So I'll show you at the very least where we're going to go here. We're going to go right into here, across her breastplate, and up into here. And actually, I think we're going to do all the way up into there. And then we have to sit here and contemplate for a second where we're actually going to put some of the coloring, because she is a very tiny lady. She is a very large-chested, large-hipped lady with like no model space. So I'm gonna start there, and I'll be right back and show you what I finished with. Alright, there we go. We now have her undersuit painted, her brassiere, and I don't know, wherever it goes. Due to the, I guess, the lack of sculpting in this model, I decided to make some, I guess, personal changes here. If you look at her character card, it looks like the sleeve actually kind of goes throughout most of this. I'm going to make a minor character change here, and pretty much everything that you see here, I think I'm going to just do silver or metal, so that it looks, I don't know, like she's got just larger metal gauntlets on. But that's neither here nor there. For the moment, let's go. Skaven Blight Dinge. We're going to do the cloak right here. And of course, on gray on gray is going to be really hard to see, but we'll make it work. And then the back suit there. I will get all that painted, and I'll be right back. There we go. While it is kind of hard to see on the camera because it is, you know, gray on being painted on top of a gray basing, trust me, it's there. So the next one that I'm going to do is, while I'm letting that area dry, we'll work on a different area. So we've prepped our lead belcher. And here it's going to be all of her armor. That's around the chest area and the shoulders. The back of the helmet here is all in the lead belcher. We're also going to go down the greave, or the greaves are on the legs, so you can't be the greaves. Actually, we'll be doing the greaves because we will be doing the legs. We'll do there. We're also going to do down all of that. And then this, as well as the sword blades. So there's a lot there. And that's what we got. I will work on all that, and I will show you what it looks like shortly. Oh, don't forget her midriff armor piece here. So I'll be right back after that's done. There we go. We now have all the silver added to our heroine, our warrior maiden. So the next one we're going to do is we're going to do two parts actually. I'm going to do both while I'm off camera. Crap! Did I put Kislev flesh first? I did. I didn't mean to put Kislev flesh first. I have to put the right paint on my palette. I put the layer that we're going to put on there versus the base that we're going to put on there. So we're going to do some Cadian flesh tone. So we got Cadian flesh tone and corn red. And we're going to paint flesh into, as I make sure to put her in camera, we're going to paint flesh into the thighs and the corn red onto her face. I will be right back when that is finished. There we go. We've got most of that model is now done. We've got the last two colors that I'm going to put on her before it's time for the inking and highlighting stage. And today we've been going a little bit differently. Normally I kind of go and I put an ink on, or put a shade on, and then we go and they put a shade on. Today we're doing this a little bit differently. So the last two colors that I'm going to do for you is our XV88 and our Stormhost Silver. The XV88 will be our two pouches on the back here. Let me focus in on the camera. There we go. Our two pouches on the back. And any part of the handle that you can see, where the grip, our Stormhost Silver, we're going to put on the hilt and the pommel of both of these because we're going to turn them into gemstones. So I'm going to quick do that and I'll be right back. There we go. We now have our model, pretty much finished. You could actually stop here and this would be a fairly decent addition to your tabletop. Of course, that is not the Jafo Paints ways, and it is now time to make her, I don't know, a little darker, a little dingier, a little bit different. So, Druchii Violet is a purple shade. We're going to put that, of course, all over the purple. Reikland Flesh Shade, I hope you guys know where that's going to go at this point. It's going to go over her flesh. And Nuln Oil Shade, that is the black ink that we use, and that is going to go over everything but the hilt and the pommel of the swords, because we do want it that bright and shiny deliciousness so that we can continue making it look like a gemstone. So I am going to go and ink all of this, and I'll be back when this is dried. There we go. We have now inked all of our model, and I think personally it has brought out a lot of character to it. What it really does with shading is it brings out the depth, the little scratches and nicks that are in her cloak, just the depth in her armor, and it brings out a lot of character to it. So now it's time to brighten this up and make it shiny, happy, a place that you want to live. So let's start with, I don't know, Kislev Flesh. With Kislev Flesh, you're wanting to get majority of her skin tone, but towards the edges and the crease in her thighs you want to leave, so that she can, it just kind of gives it some of that musculature definition. Definition. Apparently I can't speak this morning. I apologize. So we're looking to do something like that on that side, and much the same on this side. I also did add another paint that you guys should have if you've been following along with all of my painting classes, Iron Breaker, because we're going to use that to highlight up all of the metal and make it just bright, shiny, happy. As everybody should follow along, the Bob Ross School of Teaching. Happy little accidents. Actually, that only works in canvas painting. Miniature painting, that's not going to work so well. Happy little accidents are mistakes that can cost you lots of time, money, and everything else. So we're going to do that. That's our Kislev flesh. Just want you guys to see sometimes what I do for the highlighting process. The next one we're going to do Xerces Purple. We already got that on our palette, and I've prepped most of my paints for this go round. And this one we're going to kind of just literally brighten up almost everything. So this one you can be, I don't know, a little sloppier. I mean, you still want to be clean, so you don't want to get the purple on the metal, but we want to get, the top of the bra here, or the brassiere, or whatever, the chesticles area. Chesticles, I like that term. That's a good, I think that is a medical term, by the way, chesticles. So I'm going to do that, kind of aim. And here's where you can start playing with some of the lighting effects if you'd like. I'm going to put just a little bit in the neck area. But we're going to just bring up a little bit here. And I think the lower part of her breast we're going to leave dark and shadowed, so that when you look at it, it looks, I don't know, better. Get a little bit of that paint off on your finger, and don't be afraid to use your paint or your hand as kind of a miniature paint palette to kind of scrape away some of the excess paint that you may have put on there. On the back here, we're gonna get some paint, and we're just gonna highlight as we go. And don't worry, we're gonna bring this up one more layer yet, and we're just gonna, streak highlight it. So now that we've got most of this kind of done, you almost can't tell on the camera because of how bright my backlight is, but so bring it like that. So the next color that we're going to use, some Gene Stealer Purple, and this we're looking to aim for the highest points on our model in the purple section, so we just want to put a nice line right there. We'll actually use these the two like V lines down her back here, and we'll edge line those. We got that. Again, we're actually gonna let's not do the nipples, that's kind of weird, but we will put a thin layer across the top here to show light. And that's about it. And that finishes off our purple. We're going to go back to our corn red for a little bit. And we just want to brighten this mask up a little bit. You hear my assistant's humming and singing in the background because the radio that we have on in the background is playing songs she likes. So and now if this is not bright enough to your liking, we can always, you know, find one of our other reds. And again, if you've been following along with a lot of my Massive Darkness videos and buying all of the paints that I use, you probably have a good collection of paints, and you can do this in just about any color. I chose this color scheme because it's one I wanted. I wanted it to be a little bit darker. I think she would hide a little bit better. But you could always use Mephiston Red as a choice. Alright, so that brings our red out. The next one I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it off camera, is we'll go with Iron Breaker. And I'm just going to kind of touch up spots and look for, spots that in the armor. And I'll kind of give you an example here. We want to do... Let me make sure I'm bringing this on camera. We're looking to just kind of brighten up the helmet. And again, we're using such subtle tones, subtle differences, that you may or may not notice it. So, and this is just one of those steps that it adds a little bit extra life to your model and a little bit more uniqueness and doneness to it. So, and as I learned watching a video yesterday, the way you get better at painting is not only the practice, but making sure you go through with the effort. If you're watching a tips video and it says put 12 layers of 12 real thin layers of this paint on, do the 12 layers. Don't just paint over and go with 4 because you think it looks okay. Do the extra effort, and trust me, it'll get you there. It'll make it look better. So as I've been talking and painting, we're just looking to shade this, or not shade, but highlight this just enough. We're trying to get that light look to it, that light glimmers off of this. So the last one we got for you is Storm Vermin Fur. This one we're going to use as edging. And we're just going to edge through. And we're going to edge all the way, any of the high spots. And again, you could take this up one spot higher. So I'm going to hit all of these edges, and I'll be right back. Okay, I don't even remember the last highlight that I did off camera. I think it was the silver. But I did make some audibles, as always. We added some Wazdaka red, and we brightened up that mask a little bit. I also took the Stormhost silver, and I kind of gave her a little bit of that shiny eye look, which is kind of what it has there. I'm not 100% certain of how I would want to do that glow, so I didn't do it. So the final thing we've got for you today, and I already went ahead and I did my basing in Dawnstone, as all of my Massive Darkness guys are. So the final thing we've got for you today is some technical paint, Spirit Stone Red. And we're going to just Spirit Stone the top of this. And the hilt as well. So you want to make sure that those are really nice and shiny. I mean, if they're dulled down, that might look okay too. But I want to make sure that that's that way. And that's that way. So do that. And finally there, and make sure your big old bear paws, if you're like me, didn't get in the way, and just remove some of your Spirit Stone paint. And that is that. You just want to touch that all up, and there you go. Just make sure she gets in there, and there, and there, and there you go. So that has been a Jafo Paints video, Massive Darkness, Valerie. That is what our Bloodmoon Assassin looks like. As always, I give you the distance look. I think she looks amazing from that distance. I think she looks pretty damn good up close too. And I know this will add such life to your table. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up down below. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. There has been a lot of issues with YouTube lately, and them losing subscribers and losing people. Make sure if you like this type of content that you hit that bell button so you get a notification. I know I upload painting videos every Monday at 3 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So if you are watching this and you're around the world, you know exactly what time that is. I hope this video has, inspired you to paint your models. But if you are not motivated enough or just don't have the time, follow the link down below. Contact me on Facebook at Warhammer Panda Painting, and maybe I can get some work from you and get some work done for you. This has been another Jafo Paints video. See you later.